All right. Please tell me when I should stop. This is also a very simple problem.
So the water is non-spherical.
Huh.
You can see a different angle from different ratios.
You mean the contact angle?
Yeah, so it's a planar surface
Yeah.
instead of spherical.
Huh.
In this case, it's a planar.
Yeah, but he has done with circular the data for circular. Some of them. This is some very surprising, very simple experiment. We have done, most of us have done this. Just fill with water and then turn it upside down. So, without realizing, we'll get two-phase flow, counter current or alternating, depending on the size of this hole. So let me try. Okay, I'll pour it. How long it takes for 350 ml to fall out, and then I will do for 700 ml. You will see something surprising. Will you time it? See, now it is 350 ml. When you are ready, you tell me. I will turn it. Okay. I'll say 1, 2, 3 and turn it. 1, 2, 3. Okay, just note it somewhere. Now I will fill double the volume. $350. Okay, now it's 700. So when you are ready, you take. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Shall I do it again? Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
2.2 seconds.
0.2 seconds. How much was the first one?
1.2.
So now it's 1.6. Oh, surprising. My students said it came double. Anyway. Anyway, the author of this paper was solving. He has written the flow rate from non-vented containers is independent of height. Unlike flow from, suppose open to atmosphere and it is rainwater. And the reason is not very clear. He says when the height decreases, somehow the pressure inside is increasing because the bubbles are entering. And that compensates for a decrease in water. But clearly today we could not demonstrate. Sometime. This is a famous experiment due to Osborne Reynolds of fluid mechanics. Here we have, this is a modern version but he used a rubber bag and tube. Here we have sand and water filled in the gaps, and some color. So the level is in here. Now, okay. So if I squeeze it, normally I expect the level to go up, but now it has gone down. You can see it's gone below this. So if I release it, it comes. I squeeze it. Now, so can you say why it goes down? Yeah. See, water and sand, and water is still here. Okay. Now I squeezed it. So why has the water level gone down? Do this. Yeah, but something more than just rearrange. Yeah, well, in the gaps all water is there throughout. So what happened is when you pressed it, it got sheared a bit and it tends to dilate. That is the picture given in some of the books. You can imagine.
Sand is raising it now, falling down. Sand is there. Is it inside? What is that? Water.
Sand and water.
Sand and water. What ratio?
Suppose there are spheres resting on each other. To move this relative to this, the sphere has to rise up, to slide over the bottom. So the average is spacing between the spheres. So the spacing increases, the water must flow down to fill the gaps. But one interesting thing was pointed out by some visitor when I was doing seminar. See, the water is essentially incompressible. So if the water level has gone down here, all that volume has come into the bottle. Sand also incompressible. So the volume of the bottle has increased when it's otherwise the experiment cannot work. Slight increase. Okay? And one caution I should tell you. Once while demonstrating this, I happened to press here and it didn't go down at all. Because in the top part, very little sand was there, mostly water. So when I pressed, the water level went up. So the demonstration sometimes make us look foolish because they don't work. Okay, I must say something about Reynolds. There's a very amusing statement here by his student, one of his students, J.J. Thompson, how he is to teach. I am not recommending that we should follow this, but since he was very different from others, what he did is he came rushing into the room and there were books of Rankine on the table. He take out one and say some formula is wrong. So the rest of the class will be spent in trying to prove it's wrong. But he won't discuss with the student, he'll face the board and go on writing and dropping out. Finally, towards the end, he'll say, he'll write one line and say, this proves Rankine is right, and he'll go away. Okay, this I've already
Wait till you say that. I'm doing
Okay, this is an interesting experiment. I should find it. Alright. Okay, this is an hourglass containing sand. I should find it. Alright. Okay, this is an hourglass containing sand. I have to wait for a little while. But anyway, it's resting at the bottom now. Outside the hourglass, there is just water. Inside the hourglass, there is sand and air. You have to just wait for a little while, then I will turn it. You have to just wait for a little while, then I will turn it around and see something. Okay, before it gets ready, initially I used to think this Fielden was the one who had thought of this experiment. But later, just a couple of days ago, I found there's a nice book by Walker called The Flying Circus of Physics. There he had the similar picture of hourglass, and he referred to an article by Martin Gardner, who passed away this year and used to write for Scientific American. So it's actually quite an old thing. My student Jyotsna set it up. You will see some peculiar things, some wire is there, top and bottom. Initially what happened is the hourglass was too buoyant, so it would rise to the top whatever it is. So she added some weights to keep it. Now I will turn it round. See, it will get stuck like this for a while until fair amount of sand from this bulb drains into this. Then it comes down. So you can again guess why it may be happening. What may be the reason why it is stuck? Now it slowly descends. Yes? There is.
Is it in contact with the glass?
Yeah.
Okay, so because of this flow, the friction which is...
Yeah. You're right. What happened is, initially when I started, the hourglass was like this, and all the sand was here. So when I turned it round, the upper bulb had sand and the lower bulb had air. So this is top heavy configuration, not stable. So it will tilt to one side, doesn't matter which one. So once it tilts, it will touch somewhere. Once it touches, the normal force generates a proportional frictional force, which will oppose the net weight or buoyancy, depending on the type of the hourglass. So it's a balance between friction and net weight. One thing to note is if the diameter of the vessel very wide, then you can't have this. And if it is too buoyant or too heavy also it won't work. Somehow it just get it then. Here one interesting thing, the author, one scientist, he saw this, immediately wrote down differential equation and was trying to solve it. But he was not able to explain why it works. So the lesson is, as far as possible, we should try to understand the physics of the problem before trying to solve numerically or otherwise.
Keshav,
Yeah.
this dilettancy, does it have a more familiar manifestation on the beach and all?
Yeah, same reason.
You always have this sand.
Ah,
It's a very densely packed.
yeah.
So there is a linear resistance.
Correct.
If you have a loosely packed,
Then it will compact.
you will have a quadratic resistance.
It makes sense.
You know the word, you see, when you take a densely packed,
Yeah.
yeah. Sand, that's sand. So it is a linearly, that is the resistance, the linear resistance.
Actually,
And whereas in the sparsely packed, there will be a quadratic.
okay, let me say something else. Okay, what I am explaining may or may not be the thing you are looking for. If you had a granular material between two parallel plates, you apply constant normal stress and you shear it. Okay? At a constant speed, at very slow speed. You plot P versus X. X is displacement measured from some position. So with densely packed, it tends to go like this. And if it's loosely packed, it goes like this. Both will reach the same state after long shear. And this is called the critical state. If you vary the normal stress, you will reach some other critical state. So, difference in behavior of loose and dense. Okay, this is a very interesting problem. Actually, I don't understand it properly. Until few years ago, I think the literature also there was no satisfactory explanation. Of late, I have not kept up with the literature. I don't know, maybe somebody has solved it. An amusing statement which my friend, late Hemant Kawat, aerospace department, had told me. Problems worthy of attack show their worth by hitting back. So this is one such problem. Many people have looked at it, but I think still not satisfactory. Mr. Raghuram will, it's a mixture of sand. One color is light and fine sand, the other is coarse. Now he'll rotate slowly and you'll see. You can come near if you want.
Basically, it's well mixed.
Relatively well mixed now.
I keep on rotating, then there will be
You
separation.
find banks in the axle, but you have to give him a little bit of time.